Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to talk a little bit about coaching. Today, we're going to talk about planning, and we're going to talk about what we potentially should be planning for our drills as we move forward. I'm going to share the screen a little bit differently today because I'm going to try to be a little interactive with the mouse. So, came across a pretty cool book. Everybody's probably seen this by now. Nick Winckelmann. This is an unbelievable resource here for looking at the way we as coaches talk to athletes, and more importantly, how we teach athletes. Now, given the nature of our situation here, there could be some restrictions or guidelines on how we should actually be in proximity to our athletes. So if I'm in a weight room, I may have to stand back a little bit further than normal. If I'm on a field, maybe my drills have to be set up a specific way, but it may change the way that I actually teach my skill. So let's look at a couple examples here. Let's just take a football field or any field sport, for example. If I'm traditionally a coach that likes to move around, maybe move through, which is very common, almost like a basketball official where I change position, I'm getting different angles on athletes, I bounce in, give feedback, bounce out to see the group. If I'm that style of coach, I may need to really think about how I'm going to structure my athlete stations potentially. Okay, do I need to move them around and stagger their spacing out a little bit while still maintaining the integrity of what I'm trying to do? Or do I need to change my behavior? I still want to maintain appropriate angles. I still want to have the ability to be interactive, but I need to think about everything there. Same thing on a softball field, okay, or a different field. How can I structure my drills, my lines, and my own positioning to maximize my impact? Weight room would be the same kind of deal. Okay, where do I need to be standing to get an appropriate angle and to provide feedback to teach an athlete while keeping them safe and me safe? Do we need to stagger athletes out? Okay, do we need to move a lot of different things? A lot of this is probably going to be based upon our individual guidelines as coaches. But we need to be thinking about this now. Really great podcast came out on Ahead of the Curve. It's a baseball specific podcast, but they share a lot of neat things on there as it pertains to skill acquisition and motor learning. But they interviewed Coach Winckelmann the other day, and a couple different things he talked about with his drills and his coaching language, if you will. And moving forward, I want to talk about a lot of these, but 3 different areas really stood out to us. It was, we need to think about, as coaches, the words we use. They need to be extremely intentional and purposeful. We need to talk about the tone of our voice. That could be the pitch, the pace, and the volume potentially. Okay, and then we need to think about our nonverbal cues, which we'll call body language. Right now, as coaches, we may have a little extra time away from the office. Think about your drill repertoire. Think about how you coach your athletes and your athletic skills, and then find different ways to make sure that you can handle the situation if there are some changes that may pop up here in the coming weeks. So in summary, this is a pretty cool resource. Nick Winckelmann, check out Ahead of the Curve podcast. It does have a neat little thing going through this, and he goes in depth about a lot of cool things. Think about your positioning and think about the words you're using to teach and to provide feedback. Hope everybody's doing well. Enjoy today.